guys ready for your first match in Group D? Do you still love Starcraft? All right, so do I. All right, I'm gonna bring your players out. First guy's from Chile, South America. Not too many players exported from Chile. So give him a very warm German welcome. Dignitas Killer. And his opponent from a little country called Germany. Hasu. Ready? Okay. Look, have fun. And I'm turning it over to Tastosis.
What up? We are here at the Intel Extreme Masters. We're back, ready to cast some games and kick some ass. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing so well. I'm so excited. One of my favorite players is about to play.
I know.
Do you guys like Hasu from Germany? Me too.
We do too. We actually we're pretty good friends with him. We see him and hang out with him a lot at these events. So this is going to be a lot of fun to cast. And of course, we've got this new Chilean player. I don't know what to expect. I don't know much about this guy. Do you have any background on him?
Yeah, I mean, Killer, he played StarCraft 1. He actually got pretty darn good at it at the end. Then went over to StarCraft 2, and he's been doing, basically Killer's always the guy from South America at these events. He's, you know, IEM is one of these great tournaments that actually has qualifiers all over the world instead of just in areas where the game might be more popular. So Killer's gotten the chance to really prove himself at these and actually pick up sponsorships and things like that. So I'm really excited to see him play here today. I don't think I've ever casted him before, but I've seen a lot of his games, and he's quite a strong Zerg.
You know, it's great to see some of these players from South America, from Chile, coming out here and competing with the rest of the world. You know, the South American scene is actually fairly big. It's not as big as the European scene. It's not as big as the you know, European scene or North American scene, and it's but at the same time, they do have a lot of good players.
Oh yeah, they absolutely do. Oh yeah, Phoenix absolutely tastes this. In fact, I believe Phoenix was knocked out of their WCS, the regional one, by Killer himself. So these two kind of battle over South America for the most part. There's some other players down there too, but not nearly as well known.
Well, it's going to be, you know, fun. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of Germans here. We're here in Cologne. If you just tuned into the stream, you didn't know. So he's going to be the favorite. But at the same time, you know, there's going to be a lot of people from South America watching, rooting for Killer.
Yeah.
You know, it's similar to, I think, to what it was like for us in the Brood War days, where it was Korea and then the rest of the world. And a lot of times, you know, we want to say, no, you know, there are a lot of good non-Koreans, just like a lot of people say, no, you know,
absolutely,
the other continents that don't get as much attention for esports, they're still good players. So definitely this guy wants to prove a lot. Now here is Hasu. I've known this guy for a long time. He's very talented. Yep. Easily one of the best Germans.
Oh, are you kidding me? This guy has won so many tournaments over here. A Warcraft 3 pro gamer and now a Starcraft 2 pro gamer. Most recent EPS champion. Just an all-around talent. And he really grasps the game very well. He oftentimes plays a very defensive style and comes back in situations that you would never think he could.
Yeah, a very smart guy. Definitely a thinker. We are very soon here going to be starting this game. How are you guys doing out there? I can see you. Are you having fun?
Some of them are having a little bit of fun at least. It's good to know.
Those guys are having fun. The guys in the green in the back. Yeah. That's what we were looking for.
It's
Thank
funny.
you.
Every region seems to have like a slightly different crowd, right?
Right.
Like in America, they all jump up and clap and dance and stuff when you put the camera on.
Make faces.
In Korea, they hide their faces a lot of the time.
Or they hold a sign in front of their face.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. And here, a lot of the people just look at themselves in the camera like, oh, that's me.
That's me.
Yeah.
There I am. Those are the people behind me. I see that now. Whatever. Different people all over the world. Countdown started. We're going to get this going. Are you guys ready? You having fun? We're here at the Intel Extreme Masters. Make some noise.
All right, Tasteless.
Daybreak.
PVZ. Epic map, epic matchup. Let's go ahead and jump into the game and introduce these players.
Gladly. In the bottom left, we have, I think it's the fan favorite, prove me if I'm right, give it up for Hasu. And show this guy some love. He's traveled all the way across the world to be here in Cologne to represent not just his country, but his whole region of the world. Give it up for Killer.
All right. Daybreak. We have seen so many games on this map. And a ton of them have been PVZs. So, you know, it's either going to be obviously a 2-base all-in at the third of Zerg, or, you know, we could see him go into 3 bases and play the more macro style. With Hasu, it could go either way. You know, he definitely is someone that can execute a 2-base timing, but I love his macro games personally.
Yeah, I think he's got some great macro games. His 2-base timings, so you're right, are very good. And, you know, you got to have, and I know there's a lot of noobs here in the audience that might be coming by here saying, what the hell? I know Starcraft, but what is all this terminology I'm not acquainted with? This is, you know, there's different ways to play the game, different strategies. Some of them, you know, you do all-ins or cheeses. You got stuff where, you know, you go on 2-base, we call it 2-base timing, because you just build up as much as you can on 2-base, wait for them to take a third and then attack. There's the meta game, all sorts of great terms. If you want to get more acquainted with that and you're interested in learning more about Starcraft 2 esports, check us out at the GSL. You can see that at gomtv.net, gomtv.net. We host the most competitive esports show to date. In fact, many of the Korean players are down here from that same show that we're on. So the probe here, trying to deny the hatchery from being planted. Now, the drone was sent pretty preemptively, so he's only just now got to 300 minerals. So really, you know, Hasu didn't deny a lot there.
Yeah, you know, he slowed him down maybe just a little bit, but, you know, even sending the drone early, even though you're going to get rid of the probe very quickly, compared to the actual time that you want your hatchery down, you do lose mining time as well. So, you know, the probe always coming in pretty handy as long as you keep it alive.
So we have the gateway on the way over here. Cannon as well. All this very standard stuff. Wall in here. Many of you guys who are watching obviously know this is what you're supposed to do. You make your own entrance, because obviously the berth at the entrance, very big. Meanwhile, we got some lings headed southward, and the standard Zerg third base is going to start.
Well, third base going up, so this isn't going to be any sort of all-in or cheese, but Hasu is going to want to actually scout that. That's why he sent out a second probe already, while the first probe actually makes his escape on the way home. And with that additional probe out there, he should be able to get over and scout what's going on, whether there's some sort of crazy 2-base shenanigans going on, or there's a third base.
Now, he may hide it for a little bit. He may try to go in there right away. There's different moments you want to send him in, depending on how confident you are in what you think he already has, what your instinct is telling you. Yeah. So the probe is going to come down here, probably head downward. And indeed he will. Peek at the corner of the hatch. And now he knows.
So at this point, Hasu is going to know that he does not need to get any more cannons. He does not need to get any sentries or anything like that.
So the cybernetic score is on the way. And, you know, that's, well, it's actually finished, excuse me. And, you know, when that's out and he has the money, that's when we really get to start talking strategy, because Hasu has an array of options, as does any Protoss when he's going for that cybernetic score. Once it's done, he's going to make a tech building, and we're going to know what's going on. And the Zealot may be an overextension here. The Zealot is trapped, and he will be taken out with only one Zergling casualty. So a small victory there for Killer.
That's right. Every little thing, man. Especially when we see that +1 turning. To get rid of a Zealot early on when you know that there's going to be some aggression, it can be a pretty big thing. Hasu in the meantime getting that third gas relatively quickly and making a sentry right away as well. So we definitely could see some sort of like sentry immortal timing. We're just gonna have to wait and see if he does get that robo right away.
So the lings are going down now. The Stalker, a little bit of a better choice here to send out, because the Stalker basically faster than most of the units in the game. So, and it's ranged as well. So you can get out there, damage, you know, air units like the Overlord or the ground units like the Zergling, claim the Watchtower, and that's just going to be one location the Zerg can't see. Because if you look at the Zerg's vision here, he's got a pretty good idea of what's going on everywhere. So it's hard to surprise Zerg. He has all these entrances covered. So the least the Protoss can do at this moment is try to block off this location here.
Well, we're going to see if he actually wants to go ahead and take another base. Is he going to pressure? We don't see any probes coming out quite yet, and the sentries are all being sent down towards the third base. In the meantime, we do have the Twilight Council coming up. So right now it's kind of looking like a two-base blink all-in attack.
You think he's going to just use the hallucination, get a fake Phoenix or something, and try to blink up into the main? Because I don't know.
That would be That would be a little bit weird, wouldn't it? But no, we're going to see a Nexus. Hasu with a very original type of style here. You know, he's getting the super fast +1, focusing on sentries. Obviously, he's going to be going for +2. But the hallucination is really the part that intrigues me here.
Well, the blink as well. I was pretty sure he wouldn't get blink right away if he's going to get hallucination. And a third base. I thought he would probably just use that to, you know, just scout with Phoenixes and get his robo as late as he needs to get it.
Yeah. Well, you know, the hallucination at least makes it so that he has full intel on what's happening. Like if he sees a bunch of roaches, if he sees that roach warren wiggling too much, he might think, oh, is there going to be burrow movement, something like that. In fact, with that Spire coming up, and the fact that he's getting hallucination, which will scout that, as well as +2 in blink right now,
yeah,
Hasu is actually in a perfect spot with the build order choice.
By the way, the fourth base here being taken at the bottom right down here. Oh, looks like this Stalker might get trapped. Blink not quite done yet. And a nice save there.
I gotta say, man, when he actually gets hallucination in the main base of Killer and sees what's going on, and the fact that he has the perfect tools already in place to counter it, he's just gonna feel great. I mean, if you're going Muta and your opponent is not, in fact, going for a robotics tech at all, in fact, doesn't even have a robotics facility, you're gonna be in just such good shape.
And, you know, the other thing is that, yeah, robotics tech is the most common build. So Killer probably fairly confident that, oh, he went for an expand, you know, got his cannons up and, you know, started upgrading Warp Gate, and then, of course, got a robo. In fact, not the case at all. Hasu sort of his own man when it comes to his build.
Now, he has actually already scouted the Spire with hallucination. So he knows that mutas are likely on the way. We'll see how he chooses to defend, whether he's going to throw up some cannons or just focus on stalkers. Realistically, he wants to make as many stalkers and as few cannons as possible.
All right, well, the mutas are going to be out in a second here. In fact, some of them already are. That's going to put our muta count, let's see here, up to 9. Now, the Scouting Phoenix scouts, was that his first Scouting Phoenix?
No, that was his second or third.
All right, I must have missed that when I was observing. But driving out these mutas right now, there's going to be an abnormal amount of stalkers here. So really, this is not going to do a ton of damage. I mean, it would be up to Hasu to get into a position where he doesn't have his stalkers in the right spot, which shouldn't be hard now that he sees the mutas are there for anything to occur.
That's right. I mean, Hasu right now has to be feeling very good. He's, in fact, even getting a Templar Archive. So with the tech root of Killer, he is in some trouble, but he's going in towards his third base. A nice warp-in set right there of Zealots to help deal with the Zerglings. Hold position on the Zerglings to try to kill off some probes, and in fact, with the mutas and lings, he will kill off most
My God,
of the probes
he killed
here.
off every single probe.
Yeah,
Jesus.
20 probes there, Taste.
My
20.
God. Hasu just not evacuating there. It's funny because, guys, I guess I take it back. I said he shouldn't be able to do any damage, but then he just was not reacting properly. There was no defense there. And it looks like the mutas may come back in here again to see if they can get some more probes after they're going to have to be reinforced over there. Stalkers blink in. A few mutas die, but so far these mutas have done more than enough to pay for themselves.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He still has to be a little bit careful. He's making a lot of spines at home, and that's smart because this army of Protoss is getting out of hand. He has nothing that can actually engage it right now. Baneling speed is done, pretty decent upgrades, teching to Infestation Pit, but that's really it. And against Psystorm being halfway done, when Hasu moves out, he's really going to be relying upon Spine Crawlers to hold his front.
All right. I was getting a little bit worried there earlier. This wasn't Artosis pylon initially, and I saw that it's now a Tastosis pylon with backup pylon.
Oh, look at that little Tastosis pylon backing up the Artosis pylon.
Yeah, man, that's really nice. Then again, I guess where this other pylon is. I made the joke. I'm like, there's a third pylon there, but whatever.
The Day 9 pylon.
That's the Day 9 pylon right there. We're looking for the Claris pylon soon. Now, the mutas are out and about. not able to do that much damage. We've got changelings coming in here. It looks like Hasu is going to turtle pretty heavily. I think he would have taken maybe the space sooner had he not lost all of his probes. It's 20 probes killed.
Well, he's getting a lot more gates right now, getting his robotics facility up in that +3 attack as well. And the closer he gets to max, the harder it's going to be for Zerg to actually kill his army. I mean, he's making 9 infestors, going up to his hive as well. And I just love the fact that Killer continues to make spines non-stop. He needs to spend almost every penny he has on those spines to just hold those stalkers back.
And he's going to push out now for a little bit. Now, you got to be very careful with the force fields. You want to ideally trap banelings, but you know, normally what you want to do is just block yourself up. And then here we go. Oh my God!
And that was as messed up as he could have done it. Uh-oh! It looks like Killer now, despite Hasu having a perfect build order against him, has taken a huge lead.
My God! You know what was so crazy about that was the moment where he saw the banelings coming. What you're supposed to do, like we said, is force field. Instead, he panicked. He blinked. He lost all those Templars.
Yeah, he's
remade them now.
There was like 6. He lost all of his sentries. And without sentries, the banelings and lings are going to do so much better.
It was so bad.
Oh, Hasu made a terrible mistake. He had to have not been looking at his army right then. And realistically, when you have this type of army against someone who went mutas that long, all you have to do is stare at your army and micro it correctly.
All right, he's coming in here now. Is this going to be the kill move? No sentries. Remember that. No sentries. Storms on the infestors here, but Fungal's thrown down. Actually, a lot of infested Terrans as well. Muta's doing so much damage. This, I think, it could be the checkmate move here for Killer winning this game.
Well, it looks like the Stalker's some good blink micro going on, as well as an Archon popping up, and now he's going to go ahead and kill off a lot of these infestors.
Yeah, as I was observing that, I didn't see the additional units up here. You're right, he actually managed to push him out.
Killer overextended a little bit there, I have to say. You know, those storms were just way too good, and losing that many infestors is never good. So now it's getting back to somewhere a little bit more even than it was before, but still I have to give the lead slightly to Killer, especially since he has Broodlords already on the way.
All right, a bunch of lings out here now. This base over here not completely filled up yet. Stalkers moving out and just trying to clean up any creep they can get rid of. It's going to be tough too, because when the Broodlords come out, they can actually park over the creep with a bunch of Zerglings and infestors there underneath them. And then, they're so strong while on the creep, so fast that it just becomes a nightmare. So it's going to be tough for Hasu to clean that up, but at the same time, this is all he can do right now is just try.
Well, we have a fleet beacon on the way, so Mothership is the tech he's going for, but it's a little bit late here. We already have 6 Broodlords out, and Killer's sitting so pretty at 95 drones. His economy is getting pretty out of control.
All right, he will lose the Observer here. And it looks like Killer is ready again. He's maxed out. He says, I need to get rid of these units and make some more. Right now, Hasu fanning out his army, his Templars, trying to get into good position. Nice storms there, about as good as you could ask for. Actually getting a couple banelings there, too.
And the Broodlords. Under the Broodlords. Oh, huge feedbacks as well. Fungal does go off, though, so these lings will connect for a ton of damage. It looks like he's going to warp in plenty of Archons and Zealots and move back to his cannons. Looks like Killer has bungled this attack again.
You know, it's funny because Killer keeps having the lead, but, well, the lead, I guess, economically and positionally, but he doesn't seem to have that lead when it comes to execution.
Look, the overall mechanics here of Killer are great, but when it comes to battle, it's like he just kind of attack moves. It's not really the most well thought. He's out. He's like, well, I'm ahead. I'm going to go and try to kill him.
And as you can see with the hockeys, he is using 3 different hockeys for his army. So it's not like he just has everything under one and just goes for it. So it's too bad. We'll see, though. Again, Hasu, if he gets this base up and running, the game's going to even out. I don't think Hasu is going to attack. We'll see, though. You never know. No. Hasu a bit unpredictable.
Well, Hasu is getting a lot more gates, getting out of Warp Prism as well as Mothership. His upgrades are looking really, really good as well. I love how he's getting plasma shields instead of another armor, realizing that he's using a lot of Archons this game as well as that Mothership.
All right, 3 more Broodlords on the way. That will give us a total of 12. in a minute here. And now we see him right now trying to just move out. He has made sure that there's no creep over onto this side of the map. It goes right here to the middle. By the way, that initial attack, well, I guess the first Broodlord attack, I'm surprised he didn't go through here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're completely
You can spread
right.
the Broodlords out here and here and do a lot of damage. But kind of peculiar to come from this angle.
Yeah. If you had done a slightly slower push, maybe brought some spines, went through the middle, so that rallying was easy, could have helped out.
We got a War Prism coming in here. Is he ready? And remember the Greater Spire right over here in a vulnerable position.
And a nice feedback from that high Templar. The Queen, though, had very low energy since there's 2 hatches in there. And the drop really not doing anything right now, but that's not really what matters.
All right, the Broodlords are moving out. The Mothership is here. We've already seen some crazy Mothership games today, Artosis.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
in fact, it feels like every game we've casted, we've seen Broodlords in at this point.
I think that's correct.
Including that PvP.
Yeah, that was insane. How did they do that?
I don't know.
Okay, so the goal here, as many of you guys have probably already seen, it's called the Archon Toilet, literally. By the way, these is nothing, no mistake here. He just wants to free up his supply to make more attacking units. That's why he's getting rid of the probes. He wants to make a vortex here because, as you can see, watch as the Broodlords move. See how they bunch up like that? Every time they're clicked somewhere. If you can get a vortex and suck them all in there, he puts the Archons inside the vortex. As everything pops out, the air units are stacked up. Archons do splash damage. Too much to deal with.
That's right. And there's so many Broodlords. They're really the entire army of Killer other than just a few Infestors mixed in.
By the way, I love the Spine Crawlers here.
Yeah, so well done. And look at these great Storms as well, just picking off anything and everything that he can. Hasu is being very patient so far. And here we go, a blink forward going after those top Broodlords. They are spread out pretty well. A nice Vortex going down, catching a ton of units. The Archons all stuck behind right now.
Oh my God, some of the Broodlords getting pulled in there. All right, he's closing in now. I feel like these Broodlords not quite doing enough. We're going to see what happens, though, when the Vortex ends. Looks like he wants to storm as everything is coming out, throwing out some infested Terrans here. There might be too many Spine Crawlers for him to move any further forward.
Well, he's still trying, Tasis, but these Corruptors going after his Mothership, and you don't want to lose the Mothership. It's so expensive. Down it goes, but Hasu backing up to his cannons, warping in some more units. Looks like he should be able to just sit tight for a moment here, and Killer's going to have to regroup.
And you know what? Good work, Hasu. He actually survived that. I thought he was going to possibly lose that game there. He did a good job, but it's not over yet. Right now, Killer is just remaking that. Killer definitely with an advantage. You could tell because throughout most of the game, he's been maxed out on supply. He's actually been maxed out 3 times. Note he's making more Spine Crawlers in case of a counterattack. Ideally, what he should probably do is try to edge forward with, or actually, you know what? Leapfrog forward. And oh my God, I just caught the tail end of this. And he can't afford to lose this.
That's right. Oh, and down goes the Greater Spire.
So funny, we totally forgot about this thing over there. But
what a great snipe, and so did Killer, I guess, because he ended up losing his Greater Spire there.
All right, moving forward here. He's trying to get these Spine Crawlers closer and closer, meanwhile expanding down here.
Broodlords are moving forward. He's got 10 right now. The Greater Spire is halfway done to refill it. And this is just getting so scary for Hasu. Without a Mothership, I don't know that he can hold off the frontal attack.
All right, another attack over here. But bruising that Warp Prism. Some drones are going to need to be moved over here. This mission was a success. He just came in there and destroyed that base. This is Hasu cash cow right now. I think what Hasu, he can do this 2 ways. He could either push here or just turtle and defend here. One's more conservative, but you know, it just depends, really.
Well, looks like Killer's going up towards his top base. His base so important, as you said, Tasteless, but that's going to leave his Broodlords behind. Maybe these Stalkers can blink in and deal some damage.
All right, nice. Throwing up infested Terrans here as a deterrent. And the Mothership's out. Is this an overextension? The Nexus goes down.
Indeed it does, and Killer still has some time, don't forget, because the Mothership doesn't start with enough for a Vortex, but a nice Storm and Blinken, picking off 3 Broodlords right away. Some great side storms going down, weakening everything coming towards him. And Hasu is holding on, but Killer, look at the map, just blue everywhere.
Yeah, he's got that expansion over there. He's moving forward here with just a ton of infested Terrans. He does have these Overseers in the, let me check here. Yeah, he can see at least the upper part here of that army. He's trying to be very careful because I believe he only has 1 Overseer here. Maybe overextending, though. He's got to be careful.
That's right, a nice blink
oh,
in by
excuse me,
these
it's 2 more.
And the Stalkers right now killing off pretty much everything. So Hasuovs just continues to not die.
Okay, nice job, Hasuovs. I did find it sort of questionable that Killer's moving that far forward, but I feel like this is economical checkmate here. I don't think there's a whole lot that you can really do to get out of this position. Yes, you can attack these spine crawlers. Yes, that's going to, you will win that fight, but at the end of the day, he's just going to remake this army again, and there's an entire another wall of spine crawlers. I don't know if Hasuovs is aware of how far behind he is, probably thinking this base is not located. Meanwhile, this base, lots of minerals. Same with this one over here.
Yeah, you know, he's bringing his probes at this point, so he realizes that at least he's in some bad trouble. It's nice storms going down, but against all these spines and reinforcements.
We should be seeing GG pretty soon here.
We really should.
This is the point of no return. There's no way for this small army to get all the way in here, especially with the Brood Lords out now. He's going to need to go underneath them. He does go underneath them. Takes out one. There's still 3 remaining.
That's right. And, well, I mean, this little tiny army of Hasuovs is down to just a few units, and that is it. Killer takes game number 1 against Hasuovs. Really well done by him. But I do have to say that Hasuovs is going to be kicking himself, because if he had just microed correctly with that one army, if he had just stared at his High Templar, Stalker, Sentry army.
You mean when he blinked away when those Banelings came in there?
Yeah, and his High Templars got caught and all that. If he had handled that right, he could have ended the game right there, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was almost, I mean, I don't want to laugh at the guy, but almost funny when we saw him. The reflex when you see those Banelings, especially for a guy that uses blink a lot, to blink away, he blinked behind all the important units. It would have been better off to lose all the Stalkers.
Well, what he really needed to do was to actually go ahead and force field in front of him. If you force field those Banelings off, throw down a couple Psy Storms, everything dies in like 2 seconds, and you just march to victory.
Hi, nerds. You guys having fun? Look at him waving. Yeah, I like that shirt. It's a White Raw shirt.
That's right.
More GG, more skill.
So true, so true.
All right, so we're kind of waiting here right now for this next game to get started up. It is packed down here at Gamescom. Can't believe how many people are down here. I feel like some of the camera shots that we're getting out here don't quite capture exactly how many people there are.
There's so many people.
There's swaths of people over on this side and over here that,
We couldn't show you unless we had a 3D hologram.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way.
And you lived outside, in which case you probably don't have good enough internet to watch this.
Looks like one of the players might have left the game for a second, so hopefully we'll get this going soon.
The next map is going to be in Tomb Valley. And, this is a map where we see Brood Lords and Vortexes almost every time.
We have, literally, unless there's no Zerg in the game, we have not quite had a non-Brood Lord game.
Zerg games are going long nowadays, Tasty.
It's funny because
do not die anymore.
I know. It's interesting because the game's becoming more and more figured out to the point now where people can they get to that end game. There's no longer these random attacks. Occasionally there is, I guess, but no, it's an exciting moment here in StarCraft 2 where the game is becoming so figured out. It's pretty sick. Here's a shot of Killer now.
He looks like a killer while he plays.
He does look like a killer.
So unbelievably intense.
He's a deadly nerd. I thought he played incredibly well, by the way, in that first game. I thought, he, despite the fact that Hasuovs, who we see here now, I thought adjusted perfectly for the build that was coming at him. He just didn't have the execution, and that's what can happen sometimes. Is that you have countered the build, but then when the attack occurs, you don't execute it right, and you just lose.
Yeah. All right, well, he's in the game. We're starting it, and Hasuovs is going to have to really pay attention to his units this time. I think he knows it too, because everything looks so good for him up to that point. But you let Killer get ahead for a second, man, and it looks like he can just kill you.
He can stay true to his name. We're here at the Intel Extreme Masters. Are you guys having fun?
There you go.
Good. Get into my observer mode, which is actually where I slouch in my chair like this. You do it too. And we're going to get that game thrown up to you in a second here. And as I say that, I am not even on the Nexus. Okay. In the upper left, we have our Protoss player. Show some love, fellow Germans, for Hasuovs. And in the bottom left, impressing me quite a bit. An up-and-coming South American player from Chile. Give it up for Killer. I feel like since we cast so much GSL, I feel like I have to zoom in on the players.
You do.
As we do.
You got to get a close-up, man. That's what Killer looks like.
That's the best I can do. All right, in Tomb Valley, this is a map that is very easy to get the third base on.
Tasteless, hold on, that is so true, but look at this.
Whoa,
really quick scout here by Hasu, and he sees that it's a super fast pool by Killer, so now he can go ahead and decide how he wants to defend against that. Does he try to hold down there, or does he just build the forge and a pylon in his main?
It's a tough call.
Well, I would definitely go
pylon here.
Pylon in the main, I would say.
That's probably the safest. You can make a pylon like around here and get a cannon, or something that's cannon extra here. This place actually also good as well. And you also want to make sure you make that cannon here. Actually, let me rewind a minute and explain to our viewers. So we have the Lynx hatching. The Lynx are on the way. If he makes a cannon here, by the time the Lynx get up to this location, the cannon just dies. But so you might ask yourself, why does he make the forge here? Because he has no pylon that's done yet. So he makes so he's going to have to lose this pylon to the forge. Makes a cannon here, and this is going to force him into a weird, wonky one-base build. Now, that doesn't mean the Zerg didn't give up a lot. The Zerg doesn't have any drones. Now, here's the question: is he going to go for the main first or kill this first?
Well, I think you always do try to check out that main first, but you'll see that there's not much damage done. Maybe he can pick up a probe or two, though. That would be really nice.
All right,
in fact, surrounding the cannon, he's got to be careful there, Hasu does.
All right, a little bit of an overextension there by our Zerg player, losing a Ling. And he's going to come down here now, get the pylon, get the cannon.
Yeah, so now the game will normalize. It'll be Hasu doing a one-base opening, probably just into expansion, against Killer, who now has to drone up.
All right, so the forge is going to go down. That means no more cannons. He may want to get one more cannon here. This geyser's not going to be covered, which is going to be difficult. And Artosis, where do you go from here?
Well, you know, it's really up to Hasu. I think that one of the best things you can do, you can obviously go for like a 3 warp gate expand behind this, or you could go like a 2 warp gate void ray. That one's good as well. And it's just like a stylistic choice. And in fact, Killer, notice that he's getting a gas. It's not for anything cheesy. He has to get speed because it's really possible for Hasu to transition this into a very early attack if he wants. And with slow Lings, you're not really going to kill anything.
You know, it's funny because this is a situation that would happen in Starcraft 1. So when this problem occurred in Starcraft 1, that's where this solution actually came into light. By the way, this Zergling's hitting this assimilator over here.
Some nice micro.
It's pretty intense micro here. Hard to multitask while doing this.
Oh, that's exactly what he was going for, but just in the range of the cannon, so it didn't work out.
So if this had not been solved, this solution, which is exactly what you do in StarCraft 1, fast expanding may not have come up in StarCraft 2 for a long period of time. Because people might have thought, oh, well, just Zergs will pull early and then you lose.
Yeah. But, you know, as long as you're comfortable with it, it's not a big deal. You know, it just matters who's more comfortable with it. Is Zerg more comfortable doing that early pull? Or is Protoss just completely fine with backing it up?
Now, we got a bunch of Lings coming up here, Artosis, and he's got Ling speed on the way. I think he's going to try to run him over. Now, let's face it, guys. His pylon's going to take a while to finish. I think he's going to get pushed up the ramp. Notice he's only showing 3. The rest are going to stay out of vision because he wants to surprise Hasu. Hasu getting a forge, getting a gateway.
Oh, man, this could be rough, Tasteless. He needs to block this off perfectly. This is a very dangerous part of this game that's going on right now. He's going to have to use a force field. There goes the force field.
Now, that was a setup, by the way.
Yeah, he wants him to use a force field now, so he doesn't have one later.
Now he's got a second sentry out here.
Now he's going to have to do a full wall off.
Oh, this is going to be really hard.
And in fact, already Killer's switching back into drones. Realize that Hasu may have enough to actually hold this.
Okay, remember, there's no cannon there, okay? Sentries don't do a ton of damage. So
he's going to bait him, Tasteless.
Oh, he's trying to bait him out.
He wants him to come down, and here we go! Oh
and
my
he's in.
God. Hasu completely messing up here. It looks like he's going to lose both these sentries. Another one is coming down, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. These Zerglings look like they're definitely going to get through.
And I think this may be the end of Hasu here. Warp gate completes. He's going to try to warp in some more units. But this just may very well not be enough. The cannon's almost complete. Can he get it done in time? No, I don't think so.
Wow. Well, this is just as bad news as you can get for Hasu. Look at his supply. It is plummeting. And already 7 workers have been killed by Killer.
All right, so because Killer wasn't entirely sure if that attack was going to work, he started making drones right before it started and kept making drones. Now, what's funny is that he kept making lings, this game would be done.
Yes, that's completely true. If he had just made like maybe 10 more lings, 12 more lings, the game would have ended right there and Killer would have been up 2-0 and poor Hasu would be out. But as is, Hasu still has a little chance.
Yeah, Hasu is not dead. I thought maybe he would go back into making Zerglings. It looks like he just wants to keep making drones for the time being. In fact, at the unit count station, 42-31.
That's a big lead for right now in the game. At this point in the game, in fact, Protoss likes to be ahead as far as the worker count goes.
So, and that's of course because of the chrono boost there they have. And again, the first cannon here, that's actually going to be usable only just now finishing. We're about 10 minutes into this game. That's how hard the pressure has been here for Hasu.
Well, Void Ray is on the way. We'll see if he can get anything actually done with that. You know, one thing to say about Killer here is he is making a 4th queen. So I feel like with that 4th queen and the creep that he is pushing, I don't see the Void Ray really delaying or harassing that 3rd base all that well.
No, he doesn't know about the Void Ray coming yet.
Yeah.
He barely stopped that in time. Now, he's just going to keep droning up. He's going to open up these rocks over here so that way he has better circulation here. He won't have to go into low ground like these drones are when the Protoss decides to put the pressure on. Meanwhile, pushing out here with a bunch of creep tumors. Hasu, by the way, actually Killer, by the way, his overlords all in great positions to check and see what's going on. And when this Overseer's done, he's going to try to scout the tech tree inside the main.
Well, he's going to fly up there. I don't think he's actually seen that there's Void Ray and Phoenix already on their way out of here, but he's going to in a second as his Overseer actually goes up. And he still hasn't seen it. He's still...
Well, exactly. His overlord being attacked here.
All right, so finally he does know exactly what's going on. So can he get some damage done with the Void Ray and Phoenix? He is behind and needs to catch up somehow.
All right, infestation pit coming in here. And right now we're seeing Killer just start up his tech. He's going to start powering pretty heavily here. Now, what Hasu wants to do is get rid of as many overlords as he possibly can. He's got to be careful here. The Void Ray going to be the focus of attacks here. Losing shields, will lose HP as well.
And
a little bit.
Good defense there by Killer. You know, the fact that he's already lost some hit points there on his flying units that are so important to keep at high health because it's very mathematical what you can do with them. Killer is basically guaranteed that the Void Ray is not going to be an issue this game.
All right, continuing to wall in over here. You know, again, Hasu is behind, but he's not dead. So he can still do this. He's just got to be careful. Now, note the creep spread here. Pretty good considering how late the queens were. This is not like a normal ZVP where they had standard macro setup. Don't forget, this is a game that started out with a rush that came so soon you wouldn't have time to get cannons at your entrance.
Well, Killer's taken a 4th base in response to that 3rd of Hasu, and that's just such a great choice because Hasu is a while from attacking. Just no way he can really put on pressure. And in fact, right now, he's going for double robo. So he's putting all of his eggs into one timing basket.
Well said, Artosis. Well, looks like, what's the upgrades here? Actually, let me check that out. All right, he's only got +1 attack. And over here at the Zerg, just +1 armor. It's funny because you can see the game's at almost the 14-minute marker, but yeah, everything was knocked back so far because they were both hitting each other so hard early on, especially a Killer.
That's so true. By now in a standard game, Zerg has been maxed for a minute or two.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it just goes to show how crazy that early game truly was.
Which I think they both handled themselves brilliantly in, by the way. Now, 4th base just now finishing here. Gonna get those extractors. He wants a lot of that gas tech, and that's because we know that there's a Spire on the way. I believe that is here.
Yeah, right now a lot of creep being pushed as well, Tasteless, and those queens are really stopping the Void Ray from harassing it all. The Void Ray is trying to kill off creep tumors, but just isn't managing to do very much.
Even this position here, creep up this way, not that useful. All right, so the drone's now going to go and start mining gas. He's going to go intense air here as Aspire just about now finishes. And the Hive is almost done, so he's probably going to go straight to a Greater Spire. He's probably going to get a bunch of Corruptors, get that Greater Spire, and try dominating the air. Now, you got to be careful because, well, actually, I think both sides do. This map, as you can see here, this is pretty open. It's pretty much a field out here and a few potholes in it. So, you got to be careful in that sense on both sides because for the Protoss, the Broodlords can actually fan out and do very well.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy to get a Vortex off, but at the same time, there's not a lot of positions to hide your Broodlords to keep them safe.
That's so true, Tasteless.
So
I mean, there's only a few areas that have any sort of high ground near each base, so it can be quite tough. But, I don't think this is ever going to come to Vortexes. It's going to be basically with these Colossi that are popping out, he's going to have to move. He has one right now. He has, an okay amount of Stalkers, but he's going to have to move out immediately because he doesn't have really anything. These Stalkers, they don't even have Blink. How do you deal with Broodlords without Blink at the minimum?
Well, does he even have a Twilight Council? He's upgrading shields right now.
No, this is...
Okay, so basically Hasuob's tech tree is completely wonky right now.
Yeah.
And he's pushing out now. It looks like he's going to be closing in. Killing off the creep tumors. It looks as though he just wants to wait for these, well, I guess he's not going to wait for Broodlords, actually. He's going to go ahead and engage. Probably saying there's not enough Stalkers to hold it. Defensive force fields right now. And he's going to have to back up. He's backing up just a little bit.
Yep. Making some extra roaches as well. And
he may not switch into Broodlords actually during this attack.
Yeah.
He may try to just win with Roachling and Fester Corruptor. Nice bungle there.
I think you're right, Tasteless. I mean, the backbone of this army is completely these Stalkers, so the Corruptors are going to be very useful, and Broodlords would take too long to morph. So this is really the timing of Hasuob's. Can he keep his army together? Some great chain fungals going off, and here we go. He's going to go for it. The Corruptor's coming in and targeting down immediately. 3 Colossus do go down. The 4th one being taken down as well, and it's looking like... Oh,
Killers dominating. What a scary player, just running over Hasuob's. Hasuob's army is boiled down to just Stalkers. He's going to be pushed back further and further and further. And I don't even know where you want to go from here, Artos. Correct me if I'm wrong, there's just no way that you're going to recover from this.
Well, there's 9-10 Broodlords being made right now against someone who has 18 Stalkers, a Void Ray, and no Blink.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's just nothing you can do.
An attack move wins this game right now. And that's likely what we'll see Killer do, because that's how he attacks normally. So, I mean, this is a rough beat here for Hasuob's. Both games he was in a good position at points, and Killer just kept on going and put him down like this.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the moment when Killer just steamrolls Hasuob's. I think in a sense, as we said, this game's basically over. This is the irony of when you set your buildings up like this. You have to as Protoss, but then instead of that being good defense, it cages off your army from getting underneath the Broodlords. And if you try to go underneath them, then you're caged out of your base.
That's right. Well, we do see that he's trying to buy time for Blink right now. He's going to Chrono Boost Blink quite a bit. Well, I guess not actually, but
he's not doing it.
He's just chilling right now. There's not much for him to actually do to come back here.
Yeah, I think he just finished a fleet beacon here. I don't think there's going to be enough time for a mothership to come out, Artosis.
He doesn't even really have the gas for that.
I would say expect GG any second. We have a hidden base over here. Still way too futile right now for any good results to come from this game.
You know, he is trying to do some multi-pronged harassment right now. He's killed off a few buildings here and there, but his main army is just going to be absolutely decimated.
Throwing up some more infested Terrans here. Now the ramp acting like a funnel here. Protoss units can't quite get down. A Void Ray comes up, but infested Terrans will be able to drive it back. And I would say expect GG any second. There's really no way for anybody to recover from this. So Hasuob's loses this 2-0. GG.
Wow, man. you know what? When he actually had the wall in up before the speedlings came, Killer was in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, he had already sacrificed a lot of economy. He had sacrificed a lot more for all those speedlings. But then he baited Hasu out. Hasu took the bait. He walked out, got surrounded, didn't get a force field up in time. And that's really where things spiraled out of control. Before that, Hasu was in a good spot once again.
Yeah, you know, I got to say, Killer really impressed me back there. He looked like a much more solid Zerg than what I expected. I knew he was good, or he wouldn't be here at Intel Extreme Masters, but damn, he's like really good, really solid. I thought in both games the build order decisions were great. There was only one mistake I really saw him make out of this best of 3, and that was the one bad attack with the Brood Lords in game number 1, but maybe that was nerves from playing on the stage.
Yeah, could be. You know, he's getting more and more stage time, getting to travel to a lot of IEMs already, to be honest. And that's really helping him to grow his career and calm down a bit. And we see that because Hasu is one of the most experienced RTS pro gamers on the planet. He's been playing matches on stage, winning tournaments live for years upon years.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because, you know, not that Hasu played bad, but I expected a little bit more. I think the builds were unique, but, you know, when you do that build that Killer did in game number 2, you are just forcing the Protoss to play by your rules.
That's true.
You are forcing them to play a very specific build. So that was a smart move there by Killer. In fact, we're going to have a brief interview here with Killer. So, Jarrett, take it away.
I'm standing here with our winner, digned as Killer. How do you feel breaking the hearts of all these German fans?
I feel bad.
Don't feel bad, man. Feel good. You're so good. Do you have anything that you would like to say to the Germans or to any of your fans abroad?
Okay, this is my 3rd time in Germany, so I'm quite happy. I really enjoy the time here, and the crowd is awesome. So thank you for support the eSport. That's the important thing.
Thank you. Well, you are clearly unbelievably skilled. Best of luck in the next rounds.